Mississippi Young Women's Leadership Summit ever. So we congratulate you on being here and being selected or taking the initiative to come to this very important event. We hope that you're going to have a great time here. And if you need anything, I'm sorry, my name is Victoria Romano, and I'm the director of the Mississippi Young Women's Leadership Summit. And if you have any questions, come see me or anyone with a name tag that says Millsaps College on the bottom, or your advisors, if they're here, can direct you to, if you have any questions, to one of us. So thank you for being here. We're really excited for this day, and we've been waiting for a while, so I hope you're excited as well. A whole bunch of pamphlets. There's some informational pamphlets on Millsaps College, a campus map in case you get lost, but you shouldn't get lost. We have lots of people that can direct you in whichever way you need to go on campus. But we're staying in the Leggett Center until you leave for your service time, and then on the way back you'll be in the academic complex. But all those directions will be given to you whenever we move. The next thing, this recycled pack of paper here is your notepad for the day. And this is very important because even though we're not in school today, and I know some of you are like, great, we gotta take notes. You have to take notes because this is a working conference. That's why it's called a summit. Has anyone ever heard of a summit or what it actually means? It means the point of the mountain where you meet. And basically what the theory is that we're going to meet together. We're going to discuss a lot of issues that are very important to us as young women leaders in our high schools, and we're going to make a difference. We're going to make a goal today. So a part of that is taking notes of what you've learned and trying to apply them to situations in your high schools. So it's very important that you take notes. Let's see what else we have. There is brochures in there on just different topics that the speakers may touch on and may not. Those are for your informational use, but you won't necessarily be using them during the conference. There's speaker biographies that let you know about all the different speakers that we have for today. We have some amazing professionals in the Mississippi business, legal, professional, political world, health. These are wonderful people that you should try to get to know if you have time to introduce yourself whenever you're running around to your different events. But anyway, they're very accomplished, and if you would take the time to read about their accomplishments, that would be very beneficial for you in case you have any questions for them in the future. Okay, and then next we have, if you didn't see the blank sheet of paper that says snowball on it, does everybody see that? You do not have it? It says snowball. Okay, if you don't have anything, just let a Millsaps volunteer know. That will be used for our snowball fight later, so get excited about that. But in the meantime, we are going to introduce Dean Katz, who is the Dean of Students for Millsaps College, and he is going to kick us off and welcome you to the campus. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask at the end of this presentation. And with all due respect, let's welcome Dean Katz.
Good morning. Oh, you can do a little bit better than that. Good morning. Excellent. Thank you so much. I understand I also need to give a special shout out to Mrs. Adams from up there in Oxford. We're so proud to have you here, Ms. Adams. Thank you for coming to Millsaps. Mrs. Romano is a big fan of yours. Hi, I am Brit Katz, Vice President and Dean for Student Life and Assistant Professor of Education and a long-time proponent of women's leadership in our state, in our country, and in the world. I come by it naturally. My mother, the Honorable Kay Kellogg Katz, has been a trailblazer, and I'm quite proud of her. She's the first woman elected to the city council in my hometown of Monroe, Louisiana. Perhaps some of you have heard of Monroe. We call it Funroe. She's also the first woman elected chairperson for the city council for that entire region. Then she became the first woman elected to the Louisiana House of Representatives from District 16. She's now the 5th ranking woman amongst 105 representatives in the State House and is the chairwoman for Health and Human Services. So, as I say, Mother, you know, I hope that you've got time to schedule me when you're not helping run the state. And so she promises me that she's going to carve out a little bit of time for me tomorrow when she's not leaving. I'm going to visit with her some this weekend. You see, it's a terrific time in which to be both a young woman and a leader. You have been raised in an era in which you've seen that perhaps the most powerful woman in international relations, the most powerful person in international relations is a woman. The former Senator Hillary Rodham Clinton, now the United States Secretary of State, but she was preceded by two powerful women. Dr. Condoleezza Rice, now provost at Stanford, and for her Madeleine Albright. That was not heard of before your time in the world. We didn't see women in such powerful and prestigious placements. We didn't know that the most powerful person in all of television entertainment would be a woman, arguably Oprah Winfrey, who's now worth $2.7 billion, that's with a B, and someone who obviously has great influence on all things national, including perhaps elections. We've seen now the election of Senator Barack Obama, our first African-American president, and the First Lady, a talented and skilled attorney in her own right. Ms. Michelle Obama is setting new standards as First Lady for style, but also influence in areas including obesity, and now supporting military families at a time that we're trying to conduct two conflicts overseas. Are you aware that now, during your young lives, there are 17 women in the United States Senate? It spans the entire country, and 3 states have both U.S. senators as women. Those are Maine, with Senators Susan Collins and Olympia Snowe. That's Washington, where you've got Debbie Murray and also Maria Cantwell. And then in the largest populated state in the country, California, Senators Barbara Boxer and Senator Dianne Feinstein. A new era has dawned for women's leadership in the United States and in the world, and it is your opportunity, young leaders, to step forward and claim it. The moon is now your balloon, but the women who came before you have helped set this path up for you so that you can take advantage of it and aspire to any selected or elected position you want. I'm reminded that today marks the 25th anniversary of the Challenger shuttle disaster. The shuttle Challenger went up into space 25 years ago today, and of course, for those of us who remember that, it exploded in midair. The image that most of us in my generation remember, however, is of a woman leader. Teacher Krista McAuliffe, an enthusiastic and energetic and skilled science teacher who was going to be the first professional educator to ever perform science experiments from outer space. Her image is embedded across my memory, cheerful, exuberant, representing the best of pedagogy, teaching in the U.S. And she died in that. But there's a hopefulness in remembering that it was a woman leader that we chose to go into space with other astronauts to teach us from outer space. And her image, what she role modeled for us, lives on today. Are you aware that it was only 30 years ago today that the first woman head of state, Iceland's, and forgive me if I don't pronounce this properly, I think she'll forgive me, Vigdis Finnbogadóttir was elected president of Iceland just 30 years ago. Now, as we move forward, so many more women are getting selected prime minister or heads of state or to be the ambassador to the United Nations and therefore the primary emissary. But this is a new advent. You didn't see women stepping up into these elected or appointed positions in such numbers. We've still got a long way to go. In the state of Mississippi, only about 17.5% of the elected positions in our state house or senate represent women. You need to change that. And I believe that you will by participating in exercises like today's Leadership Summit, organized by one of the best and brightest that we have at the nationally ranked Millsaps College, our own Victorian leader, Romano. We're proud of you for having set this standard. As a 2-time former student body officer, she represents the best of women's leadership. As a varsity athlete, she shows us that women bring a competitive fire, the spirit that is not second to the men's. The women want to win on my campus as much as the men do. Oftentimes, they employ a greater degree of intelligence and skill and adroitness as they go out than the men. And I don't think there's a woman athlete present who would disagree with my assessment. There are a great many of them over there. She is also a tremendous scholar and reminds us, as do most of my other women scholars over in the room, that intelligent performance in the classroom is not the purview of men. Women are excelling and far surpassing men on board scores, entrance examinations to colleges and universities, and, for the first time now, exceeding men's numbers in graduate schools, including law school, and equaling their numbers in medical school. What an exciting time to be a young woman in the United States. You are there, and you are ready. And exercises like today's workshop will further prepare you for your future opportunities. One of my personal heroines in the development of women's leadership in the United States is an athlete that you may or may not have heard of. Her name is Billie Jean Moffitt King. And when I was a young teenager, women's athletes didn't have a whole lot of room in which they could excel or be in the boardroom or put their voices out. In fact, they probably were described, as she was, as being somewhat pushy or dominant. And we won't mention other words, since she was so much out front of other women in the United States. But are you aware that she helped create the current women's professional tennis tour, perhaps the most prominent of all the professional sports tours for women? And she got with 8 other women, created a professional tour that is now known worldwide as the WTA. And you see the Williams sisters and Kim Clijsters and Justine Emin, who just retired, amongst others, who are now making millions and millions of dollars off the shoulders of Billie Jean Moffitt King's work as someone who insisted that women be treated equally in the workplace, in the competitive place, in all areas of American life. Billie Jean Moffitt King. Yes, and I want to mention her because women have great impact on men in our judgments of women's abilities and vice versa. Claim your stake, not only today, but also in the future of women's leadership in this state and country. And if I may put in a plug, one great place for you to consider pursuing your women's leadership aptitude is at the nationally ranked Millsaps College. Long known for its pronounced areas of strength in the arts, education, business, sciences, and humanities, our students go on at a rate of about 63% within 5 years to the best graduate and professional schools in the country. We're ranked in the top 100 small colleges by most publications and accreditation agencies, known for small classrooms, an intimate relationship with faculty and administrators like me. We know everybody in the student body on a first-name basis. A terrific place for you to make your name, make your mark as a collegiate scholar, and to set the stage for your future. Please consider Millsaps College when you're thinking about your future choices for a higher education, knowing that women and men here are embraced as equals, that women have opportunities for scholarship and advancement in all areas of campus life and academic life, and that there will always be a great many of us here to welcome you as you make those choices, and perhaps for those who choose Millsaps College. My dearly Romano, is there anything else that you'd hope that I would mention in the advent of women's leadership today? We want you to step forward. Enjoy your day at Mother Millsaps. She is a great leader in education in all other areas. If you see me on campus and I can do anything to help you, please look me up. Have the blessings of a great day and great weekend. Safe travels for you and your sponsors as you return home. Thanks so much.